Hello, and welcome to this review of the Sins for All Seasons historical romance book series by Lorraine Heath. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. First up is Beyond Scandal and Desire. One of my favorite tropes is the revenge plot, and Lorraine Heath does it so well in this book. Mick Truelove is the illegitimate son of a duke who won't acknowledge him, so he sets his sights on financially ruining the legitimate heir and ruining that man's fiance. Lady Aslan is basically a sheltered miss, the ward of the Duke, and has had an understanding of an arranged marriage with the Earl of Kipwick her whole life. Except a chance encounter with Mick has her questioning basically everything, especially her own attraction to the man. I loved seeing the tough and grumble Mick turn into a doting suitor around Aslan and the buildup of his revenge. Although the idiotic Earl makes everything easier. Get ready for a really good final confrontation with the Duke, too. When a Duke Loves a Woman is book 2 of the series. The Duke of Thornley is having a no good, very bad day when he gets left at the altar, attacked by thugs, and left for dead in an alleyway behind a tavern. Luckily, tavern owner Gilly rescues him and sets him back to health. She's never felt an attraction to a man before and generally keeps to herself and is the rough and tumble tavern owner, but she's instantly attracted to Thorn when he shows up in her life. Learning that he's a duke has not deterred her attraction, even though she knows it's a terrible idea to get involved. But he needs help finding his missing fiance and believes that Gilly can provide assistance. He's realizing that he prefers Gilly's company over anyone else's, but it's still all a bad idea due to their differences in social station. I loved seeing these two people banter and communicate and finally come together. The Scoundrel in Her Bed is book 3 of the series. We have a fairly typical setup here with a second chance romance between the daughter of an earl and an impoverished illegitimate commoner. We get the story in a split timeline, starting with Lady Lavinia at the present day, where she has run her away from her wedding to the Duke of Thornley a few months ago, and now lives in a foundling home and buys babies back from baby farmers to save them. She gets into a tussle one night, and Finn, her former love, and Gilly's brother, comes to the rescue. They haven't seen each other in 8 years and both believe that the other person betrayed them, but in predictable fashion, we know that's not the whole story. In the past, we learn how these two met, became friends, and then more, leading up to a plan for an elopement that never happens. In the present day, Finn is trying to figure out why Lavinia has changed so much and why she ran away from her family. I enjoyed reading about all the experiences each one had in their years apart and how they come to the point they're at now. The romance here was fairly straightforward, and I was a lot more interested in learning the secrets that Lavinia was hiding. The Duchess in His Bed is book 4 of the series. Widowed Duchess Selina is at the ladies' club on the prowl for Aidan Truelove, the owner and bastard son of some unnamed lord. We get to see their flirty and seductive first meeting before finding out Selina's real reason for being there. She needs to get pregnant and quick so she can pass the baby off as her late husband's to keep her position and fortune. It's dramatic and angsty, and we get to catch up with the whole boisterous Trula family. There is so much steam and longing within these impossible circumstances, and it was so much fun to read. The Earl Takes a Fancy is book 5 of the series. So, the Earl of Rosemont is a widower who was tricked into marriage by his late wife. Then, for unknown reasons, his dying wife sets in motion a letter to be published in the newspaper a year after her death, basically seeking a new wife for the Earl. He's totally fed up with all the gifts and the colors and the young ladies, so he leaves his London townhouse and takes up residence in a totally different part of town where no one knows who he is. And so, a mere Mr. Matthew goes to visit his neighborhood bookshop where he meets and is smitten by the shop owner, Fancy. She is about to have her debut with the support of all her siblings who have always prepared her for marrying into nobility. But she is equally smitten with Matthew and is worried about letting down her family by not marrying a lord. This book was filled with yearning and secrets, and I loved it all. Lastly, we have Beauty Tempts the Beast, which is book 6 in the conclusion of the series. Well, I love this book too, and sad to be at the end of the series. The former Lady Althea Stanwyck has had a major reduction in circumstances when her ducal father is found guilty of treason, hanged, and his family stripped of their titles and kicked out of their home. Now, Althea lives in Whitechapel and works at a serving maid at a bar where she meets Beast. Because it's his sister's Gilly's bar, if you've been following along with this series. Beast immediately recognizes Althea's demeanor as someone of quality and recruits her to tutor the ladies who work at a brothel so they can better their circumstances. And then she demands some tutoring of her own from Beast. It leads exactly where you expect it to lead in terms of their romance, but oh man, the emotional moments of this book are so good. And when we finally learn about Beast's parents, because we're destined to tie up this story that way, everything comes full circle. It's no surprise that as a Lorraine Heath fan, I love this series. This adoptive family is so tightly knit and loving, it makes your teeth ache. We're tied together in the series by the true love siblings, all abandoned and cared for by their mom, Eddie, except the baby of the group, Fancy. In spite of their scandalous beginnings, all of them end up finding a place tied to the aristocracy, mostly due to their choice in partners. While this series moves in chronological order and the relationships build upon the previous book, the story of each book stands very well on its own, so you can feel free to read out of order. I adored this series so much, and it is a must read for historical romance fans. Thank you so much for watching this video. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.